English podcast.
From Learn English with Joy.
Welcome to Learn English with Joy, the podcast where learning English is fun and easy. I'm Chris, and I'm so excited to have you here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, and we're going to spend the next hour helping you practice listening to English through natural, everyday conversations. Whether you're at home or on the go, this podcast is perfect for improving your listening and speaking skills.
Exactly. In today's episode, we'll dive into some real-life scenarios that you can use in your daily routine. Don't worry if you don't understand everything immediately. The goal is to listen, pick up on key phrases, and most importantly, have fun.
And remember, you can always pause the episode and repeat the phrases out loud. Practice makes perfect, and the more you practice speaking, the more confident you'll become.
Today, we're going to cover 5 key situations that happen in everyone's daily life. We'll start with waking up and starting the day, then move on to going to work or school, cooking meals, and then spend some time talking about relaxing with family or friends in the evening.
These are all things that we do every day, and they're the perfect way to practice because they're real-life situations. You'll hear us use common phrases and vocabulary that you can use right away in your conversations.
Exactly. Using English in these daily moments will help you feel more comfortable and natural when speaking. So, whether you're talking about your morning routine or planning your evening activities, you'll have the tools to communicate with confidence.
Let's get started. We'll guide you through each situation, and we want you to listen carefully and try to repeat the phrases after us. It's all about making English a part of your daily routine.
Exactly. So let's begin with one of the most common daily activities, waking up and starting the day. You may already have a morning routine, but let's talk about how we both start our days. We'll go through some questions and you can try answering them with us.
Here's the first question. What time do you wake up? Let's imagine we're talking to a roommate or a friend who's just getting up. I'll go first. I usually wake up at 6 a.m.
And I might say, oh, I'm not a morning person. I wake up around 8, but I start my day with a coffee. Now, we're going to explore what happens next after we wake up.
After waking up, there are a lot of things we might do. For example, I brush my teeth, take a shower, and then I like to make the bed. It's a simple task, but it makes me feel like I'm ready for the day.
Oh, I definitely agree. I always feel better when the bed is made. After that, I usually have breakfast. I like to keep it simple, like having cereal and a coffee. What about you, Emily? What do you usually do after you wake up?
Well, after I wake up, I like to stretch or sometimes even meditate for a few minutes to clear my mind. Then, I'll get some coffee to help me feel awake and ready to start my day. I don't really eat a big breakfast, but I'll usually have toast or a light snack.
That sounds like a really peaceful start to the day. For me, I like to get up early to exercise, maybe a quick run or some yoga. It really helps me feel energized for the rest of the day.
That's great. Exercising in the morning is such a good habit. I wish I could get up early enough for a run. But hey, maybe I'll start doing that soon.
Now that we've shared a bit about our routines, let's practice some vocabulary together. When you wake up, you might do things like brush your teeth, take a shower, make the bed, have breakfast, exercise.
Let's practice saying these words and phrases out loud. Repeat after us. Wake up, brush teeth, shower, make the bed, have breakfast, and exercise. Good job. Now let's try a couple of questions. I'll ask, and you can practice answering. What time do you wake up?
I wake up at 6 a.m. every day.
What do you usually do after you wake up?
I usually go for a run and then have breakfast. Now let's switch roles. Emily, how about you try answering?
Okay, sure. I wake up around 8 a.m., and after that, I have coffee and maybe toast.
Great. Keep practicing these sentences in your own routine. And remember, the more you speak and listen, the more comfortable you'll become. It's okay if you don't understand everything right away. Just keep listening and practicing.
Exactly. The goal is to make English a part of your everyday routine. Try using these phrases next time you talk about your morning with someone. And remember, little by little, you'll get better and more confident.
Let's finish up with a full conversation using the phrases we've practiced today. Here's an example.
What time do you wake up?
I usually wake up at 6 a.m. and then I go for a run.
Oh, I'm not a morning person. I wake up around 8, but I start my day with a coffee.
I think I'd love to sleep in like you, but I'm more of a morning person. After my run, I have breakfast and make the bed.
Sounds like a good way to start the day. After I wake up, I just have a quick breakfast, like toast and coffee.
That's a great example. Now you can try it yourself. Practice with a friend or just say it out loud. The more you practice, the easier it will get.
Well done, everyone. You've just completed the first part of your daily routine practice. Keep it up, and let's move on to the next part of the podcast. In this section, we're going to talk about going to work or school. This is another key part of our daily routine. You'll hear conversations about how two people prepare for their workday or school day. These situations are important because they help you practice using English in the workplace or school, where people often talk about schedules, meetings, and what they do during the day.
Exactly. Let's start with a couple of questions that are common when talking about work or school. Emily, let me ask you first. What time do you start work?
Good question. I usually start work at 9 a.m. I get up around 8, have my coffee, and then I spend some time preparing for the day ahead.
Nice. So, you take your time to get ready. I start work at 8 a.m., and most of my day is spent in the office. I usually have a few meetings, but I also need to focus on my projects and deadlines.
That sounds busy. I'm sure many people can relate to that. For me, I'm a teacher, so my workday starts with getting ready for class. I usually spend my mornings teaching, and in the afternoon, I plan lessons or grade assignments. Now, let's focus on some of the vocabulary that you'll hear in these conversations. When we talk about work, some common words include commute, the time it takes to travel to work or school; office, the place where you work; work, the tasks you do for your job; class, a lesson or group of students you teach; prepare, to get ready for something; meeting, a time when people talk about work or share information; study, to read or learn new information, usually for school. These words will help you talk about your day at work or school. Let's practice some of these together.
Sure. Let's try using some of these words in questions and answers. I'll start by asking, what time do you start work? And you can answer, just like we did before.
Let's talk a bit more about our jobs. I'll start by explaining mine. I teach English at a high school, so most of my day is spent in the classroom. I work with students, help them study, and also prepare lessons.
That sounds rewarding. For me, I work in an office as a project manager. I handle multiple projects at the same time, and there are deadlines that I need to meet. I spend a lot of time working with my team to complete the tasks, and I also interact with clients to make sure everything is going well.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility. I can imagine that staying on top of all your projects must be challenging.
It can be, but it's very exciting. I like the fact that I'm always working on something new. Plus, having a good schedule is key for keeping everything organized. How about you, Emily? Do you have a busy schedule?
Definitely. Between teaching classes, preparing for lessons, and grading, my days are filled, but I enjoy it.
Now let's practice some of these phrases together. I'll ask a few questions, and you can practice answering. What time do you start work?
I start work at 9 a.m. Now, you try. Answer the question. What time do you start work? Great. Now let's ask another question. What do you usually do when you get to work? For me, I start my day by preparing for my first class and checking emails. What about you, Chris?
When I get to the office, I usually check my schedule, answer emails, and prepare for meetings with my team or clients.
What time do you start work?
I start work at 9 a.m. and spend most of my day in meetings.
I teach English to high school students, so my day is mostly spent in the classroom.
Wow, teaching sounds like such a meaningful job. Do you have a lot of meetings or deadlines?
Well, not as many meetings, but I do have deadlines when it comes to preparing lessons and grading. It's a balance.
That's great. For me, I'm always on the go with projects and clients. But I love the variety.
Great job, everyone. Now, you've learned how to talk about your work or school routines, including important vocabulary like commute, office, project, and schedule. Keep practicing these questions and answers with your friends or family and try to use the vocabulary in your daily life. It will help you sound more natural and confident when speaking in English. Next, let's move on to the next part of our daily routine: preparing meals and cooking. Great job, everyone. Now, you've learned how to talk about your work or school routines, including important vocabulary like commute, office, project, and schedule. Keep practicing these questions and answers with your friends or family and try to use the vocabulary in your daily life. It will help you sound more natural and confident when speaking in English. Next, let's move on to the next part of our daily routine: preparing meals and cooking.
Ah, yes, food. One of the most universal topics. Whether you love cooking or prefer something quick and easy, everyone has to eat, right?
That's right. In this section, we'll listen to a friendly kitchen conversation, maybe between two roommates, a couple, or even siblings, talking about what they're cooking, how they do it, and what kinds of meals they enjoy.
Imagine this. You're in the kitchen with someone and you're planning what to cook for dinner. This is a great moment to use practical English. Let's go over some useful vocabulary you might hear or use. Cook, to make food. Recipe. Instructions on how to prepare a dish. Ingredients, the food items you need to cook something. Boil, to heat liquid until it bubbles. Fry, to cook something in oil. Bake, to cook in the oven. Chop, to cut something into small pieces. Stir, to move food around with a spoon or utensil.
Great list. These words are very common in everyday cooking. So let's use them in a real conversation. Emily, do you like cooking? I do. I really enjoy it, especially when I have time. I love trying new recipes and making everything from scratch. Sometimes I spend hours making dishes like stews or grilled chicken with roasted vegetables.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I'm a bit simpler when it comes to cooking. I usually go for easy meals, like spaghetti with tomato sauce or a salad with grilled tofu. Quick and healthy.
Nothing wrong with that. I actually enjoy making pizza too, but homemade. I use fresh ingredients, make the dough myself, and bake it in the oven. It's so satisfying.
That sounds delicious. But I'll admit, if I'm tired, I might just go for fast food. It's not the healthiest, but it's easy.
Ha ha ha, we all have those days. But even then, you can always balance it out the next day with something homemade and fresh.
All right, listeners. Now let's help you learn how to describe your meals in English. You can start by thinking about what you usually cook. Do you prefer something quick like a salad or a sandwich? Or do you like big meals like rice and curry or stews?
Let's repeat some key words together. Say them out loud with us. Cook. Recipe. Ingredients. Boil. Fry. Bake. Chop. Stir.
Good job. Now let's try a few full sentences. I'll say them, and you repeat after me. I usually cook pasta with tomato sauce. I love baking pizza at home. I chop the vegetables and stir them in the pan. This recipe needs 5 ingredients: rice, chicken, onion, garlic, and soy sauce.
Excellent. Now it's your turn. Try describing your own meal. Start with, for dinner, I usually cook, and fill in the rest with your favorite dish.
This is a great way to build your speaking confidence. Even if you're just saying it to yourself in the kitchen, every word you practice matters.
Here's an example of a short conversation about cooking. Listen carefully, then we'll break it down.
I usually cook pasta with tomato sauce. It's quick and easy. I love making stews. I just put all the ingredients in a pot and let it simmer for hours.
Do you use a recipe?
Not always. Sometimes I just cook by feeling and taste.
That's impressive. I need to follow recipes or I'll forget something important. Did you hear how we used words like pasta, ingredients, and recipe in a natural way? Try making your own version of this conversation. You can even act it out with a friend or family member.
And remember, you don't need fancy vocabulary. Use what you know, build slowly, and focus on expressing yourself clearly.
Great work, everyone. Now you've learned how to talk about food, cooking, and meals in English. These are everyday topics that come up all the time, whether you're talking with friends or ordering at a restaurant.
And now that we're full from all that food talk, let's move on to something more relaxing, spending time at home and with family. Ready? Let's go.
Imagine this. It's the end of a long day. You've finished work or school, dinner is done, and now it's time to relax. You're sitting on the couch, maybe with a family member or a roommate, just talking about how the day went and what to do in the evening.
This is a perfect time to use English to talk about your hobbies, what you do to unwind, and your weekend plans. Let's go through some useful vocabulary together.
Relax, to rest and feel calm. Unwind, to slowly let go of stress. Television, TV, what we watch to be entertained. Book, something we read. Hobby, an activity you enjoy in your free time. Family, your loved ones. Weekend, Saturday and Sunday, when many people have time off. These are words that we use all the time in everyday conversations, especially in the evening when we talk about our free time.
Emily, how do you usually relax after a busy day? Good question. I usually like to read. I love mystery novels, the kind that keeps you guessing until the end. Reading really helps me relax and clear my mind. What about you? I'm more of a TV person. After dinner, I usually watch a couple of episodes of a show on Netflix. Right now, I'm watching a comedy series, and it really helps me unwind and laugh a bit.
That sounds fun. Do you have a favorite movie or show?
Oh, too many to count. But if I had to pick one, I'd say my favorite is Friends. It's a classic. What's your favorite book?
Tough choice. I really like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's full of suspense. But on weekends, I try to mix things up. Sometimes I read, and sometimes I go for a walk or play badminton with my cousin.
Nice. I actually enjoy playing sports too, mostly basketball. It's a great way to stay active and spend time with friends.
Okay, listeners, now it's your turn. Let's go over some of today's vocabulary again. Repeat after us. Relax, unwind, television, book, hobby, family, weekend.
Now, let's put these into some simple questions. I'll ask, and you can try answering out loud. Ready? What do you usually do to relax after work or school? Do you have a favorite TV show or book? What are your plans for the weekend? Here's how you might answer. After work, I usually watch a couple of episodes of my favorite series. I love reading mystery novels. They help me relax after a busy day. On weekends, I visit my family or go hiking with friends. Try using one of those sentences to describe your own evening routine or weekend plans. Even saying just one sentence a day helps build your confidence.
Let's show you a full short conversation using the phrases we just learned.
Hey Emily, how do you usually unwind after work?
I usually curl up with a good book. I love mystery novels. They really help me relax.
Nice. I'm more into TV. After dinner, I watch a few episodes of my favorite series on Netflix.
That sounds fun. Do you have any plans for the weekend?
I might go play basketball with some friends. What about you?
I'm thinking of visiting my parents and baking something with my little niece.
That's the kind of conversation you can have every day, and now you can do it in English.
So, whether you're a book lover, a TV fan, or a weekend adventurer, now you know how to talk about your hobbies and relaxing time in English.
And don't forget, these topics are great for small talk, especially when you're meeting someone new or just catching up with friends.
Coming up next, our final part of the day. the evening routine, and getting ready for bed. Let's keep going.
So now, imagine it's the end of a long day. The sun has set, the dishes are clean, and you're starting to wind down. Maybe you're talking to someone you live with, or just reflecting on your day. This is a great time to talk about how you prepare for bedtime.
Let's go through some vocabulary that's common when we talk about sleeping or nighttime routines. Bedtime, the time you usually go to bed.
Sleep, to rest at night. Pillow, the soft cushion under your head.
Blanket, what keeps you warm in bed.
Relax, to feel calm and peaceful.
Dream, what you see or imagine when you're asleep.
Snore, the sound some people make while sleeping.
These are all great words to describe that peaceful part of the day when we slow down and prepare for sleep. So, Chris, what's your night routine like?
Well, I usually start by turning off the TV and brushing my teeth. Then I like to do a bit of stretching to help me relax. I also prepare for the next day, like checking my schedule or setting out my clothes. After that, I get into bed, turn the lights off, and I'm ready to sleep.
Sounds like a healthy routine. For me, I like to make a cup of herbal tea, and then I spend about 20 minutes reading. Reading helps me calm down and disconnect from my phone and the internet. I keep a soft blanket and a big pillow so it feels cozy.
That's nice. I've also tried meditating for a few minutes before bed. It really helps clear the mind. Some nights, I even listen to calming music to fall asleep.
Music is a great idea. I sometimes listen to nature sounds or soft piano music. And I always try to avoid scrolling on my phone because it wakes my brain up instead of helping me sleep.
Now it's your turn to practice. Let's go over some of the words from today's section. Repeat after us. Bedtime, sleep, pillow, blanket, relax, dream, snore.
Great job. Now let's try a few full sentences. Repeat after me. I like to read before bed. I usually listen to music or do some light stretching. I turn off the lights and relax with a soft pillow and warm blanket. Before I sleep, I prepare for tomorrow.
These are simple but very useful sentences. Try saying them out loud, or even better, write down your own night routine in English. You can start with, before bed, I usually, and finish the sentence.
Don't worry about being perfect. Just practice. Talking about your real-life habits makes the vocabulary more meaningful and easier to remember.
Let's listen to a short conversation using all the words we've practiced. Imagine two friends chatting at night.
I like to read before bed. It helps me fall asleep faster.
That sounds nice. I usually listen to music or do some light stretching before I sleep. Do you ever dream at night? Sometimes. Last night I dreamed I was on a beach with no work and no deadlines.
Ha ha ha, that sounds perfect. I hope I have a dream like that tonight too.
So now, you've learned how to talk about your evening routine and preparing for bed in English. Whether you read, stretch, listen to music, or just dive into your cozy bed with a blanket and pillow. You now have the words to describe it.
Use this part of the day to slow down and practice calm, simple English. Talking about your habits in English, even at bedtime, is one more step toward fluency.
That brings us to the end of today's daily routine journey. We've gone from waking up to working, cooking, relaxing, and now getting ready to sleep.
In the next episode, we'll introduce new topics and more useful expressions. But for now, get some rest and sweet dreams in English.
That brings us to the end of today's daily routine journey. We've gone from waking up to working, cooking, relaxing, and now getting ready to sleep.
In the next episode, we'll introduce new topics and more useful expressions. But for now, get some rest and sweet dreams in English.
Before we say goodbye, let's quickly recap what we learned today. We talked about 5 everyday situations that many of us go through. Waking up and starting the day. Going to work or school, preparing meals and cooking. Relaxing and spending time with family. Evening routines and going to bed.
And throughout these conversations, we learned lots of useful vocabulary like wake up, brush teeth, commute, office, cook, ingredients, relax, hobby, blanket, dream, and many more. These are words and phrases you can use every single day, whether you're chatting with someone in English or just practicing by yourself at home.
Now it's your turn to speak. Take a moment to practice the questions and answers we used in this episode. Try saying things like, "What time do you wake up?" "I usually go to work at 8 a.m. For dinner, I like to cook pasta." "I relax by watching a movie or reading a book." "Before bed, I listen to music or stretch."
You don't need to say them all at once. Just pick 1 or 2 sentences and say them out loud. Try using them in your daily life. That's how your English becomes more natural and confident, step by step.
Thanks for joining us today on Learn English with Joy. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
We'll be back soon with more friendly conversations, useful vocabulary, and real-life English to help you grow every day.
See you next time, and keep learning with joy.